Hey, movie fans! Today we're diving into the cinematic abyss that is Deadpool and Wolverine. Critics are throwing punches like it's a superhero Royal Rumble. Some are all about the humor, saying it's like a unicorn riding a roller coaster through a confetti factory. Others? Not so much. They're calling it a reheated chimichanga of Marvel cliches. So is Deadpool and Wolverine the cinematic equivalent of a flaming dumpster fire? Or is it more like a perfectly toasted marshmallow slightly charred around the edges, but still delicious? Let's break it down. First up, we've got Venlay Ma from The Nightly in Australia, and let me tell you, she's not holding back. Venlay's basically saying this movie is like that one friend who tells the same jokes over and over again. Sure, you'll crack a smile, maybe even let out a courtesy chuckle, but deep down, you're just waiting for the conversation to be over. She digs the humor, saying Deadpool's as quick-witted as ever, but she's also calling out the film for lacking emotional depth. It's like a triple-decker ice cream sundae with no actual ice cream, all sprinkles and whipped cream, no substance. Venlay thinks it's a fun ride while it lasts, but once the credits roll, you'll probably forget everything but the sugar rush. So, if you're looking for a movie that'll make you ponder the meaning of life, you might want to skip this one. Next, we're hopping over to the glamorous world of Vanity Fair with Richard Lawson, and he's got some opinions, honey. Richard's basically saying this movie is like digging through your old comic book collection and finding a bunch of your favorite issues. Except they're all missing the last few pages. Sure, it's cool to revisit the classics, but you're left with this nagging feeling of, what the heck happened? He's all about the nostalgia factor, saying it's a treat to see Deadpool and Wolverine back in action, but he's also calling out the film for feeling like a placeholder. Richard thinks it's a fun detour in the grand scheme of the MCU, but it's not exactly breaking new ground or changing the game. So if you're looking for a movie that'll redefine the superhero genre, you might want to look elsewhere. Peter Travers, ABC News. Let's check in with Peter Travers from ABC News and see what he has to say about this superhero extravaganza. Peter's basically saying this movie is like a plain slice of pizza. It's not fancy, it's not groundbreaking, but it's familiar, it's comforting, and it gets the job done. He's acknowledging that it's not a cinematic masterpiece, but he's also giving props to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman for their undeniable charisma. Peter thinks it's a solid, if predictable, addition to the Marvel universe. So, if you're looking for a movie that'll blow your mind with its originality, you might want to adjust your expectations. Unless, of course, you're perfectly happy with a fun, action-packed adventure with a side of witty banter. Kyle Smith, Wall Street Journal. Now we're heading over to Wall Street, where Kyle Smith from the Wall Street Journal is giving us his 2 cents. And let me tell you, he's feeling optimistic. Kyle's basically saying this movie is like finding a $20 bill in your old jeans. It's a pleasant surprise, it brightens your day, and it reminds you that sometimes good things do happen. He's acknowledging that it's not perfect, saying it can feel a little all over the place at times, but he's also praising it for being a breath of fresh air in the superhero genre. Kyle thinks it's a crowd pleaser, especially for fans who've been following these characters for years. So if you're looking for a movie that'll make you question your existence, you might want to skip ahead. Adam Kempenaar, Film Spotting. Hold on to your hats, folks, because Adam Kempenaar from Film Spotting is about to drop some truth bombs. Adam's basically saying this movie is like that one friend who's always reminiscing about the good old days, to the point where you're pretty sure they've blocked out anything that's happened in the past decade. He's acknowledging that the nostalgia factor works sometimes, but he's also calling out the film for relying on it a little too heavily. Adam thinks it's a fun trip down memory lane, but it could have been so much more. So, if you're looking for a movie that'll break new ground and redefine the superhero genre, you might want to temper your expectations. Unless, of course, you're perfectly content with a healthy dose of nostalgia and a few good laughs. Sara Michelle Fetters, MovieFreak.com. Next up, we've got Sara Michelle Fetters from MovieFreak.com, and she's bringing the sass. Sarah's basically saying this movie is like that one friend who tells the same jokes over and over again, even though you stopped laughing after the 3rd time. She's all about keeping things fresh and original, and she's not afraid to call out a movie that's stuck in a rut. Sarah thinks this movie is lacking the spark that made the previous Deadpool movies so great. So, if you're looking for a movie that'll make you laugh until you cry, you might want to adjust your expectations. Unless, of course, you're perfectly content with a few chuckles and a whole lot of action. Robbie Collin, Daily Telegraph, UK. Hold on to your monocles because Robbie Collin from the Daily Telegraph is about to deliver his verdict, and it's not pretty. Robbie's basically saying this movie is like a jigsaw puzzle where someone mixed up all the pieces from different puzzles. You're left with a jumbled mess that's impossible to decipher, no matter how hard you try. He's all about cohesion and storytelling, and he's not afraid to call out a movie that feels disjointed and unsatisfying. Robbie thinks this movie is a missed opportunity, and fans hoping for a thrilling, cohesive adventure might be left feeling disappointed. So if you're looking for a movie that'll keep you on the edge of your seat from start to finish, you might want to lower your expectations. Wendy-eyed Observer. Now we're heading back across the pond to hear from Wendy-eyed of The Observer, and she's got a lot to say. Wendy's basically saying this movie is like that one friend who's simultaneously annoying and hilarious. You love them, you hate them, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. She's acknowledging that the movie can be grating at times, especially with its reliance on meme-like jokes and comic book references. But she's also giving props to the film's undeniable humor, saying it's impossible not to laugh at some of the jokes, even if they are a little cringeworthy. Wendy thinks this movie is a mixed bag, but ultimately, it's a fun, comedic ride. So, if you're looking for a movie that's both thought-provoking and side-splittingly funny, you might want to adjust your expectations. Karen James, BBC.com. Let's check in with Karen James from BBC.com and see what she thought of this superhero showdown. Karen's basically saying this movie is like that one reliable friend who's always down to hang out, even if they're not the most exciting person in the world. They're not going to win any awards for their personality, but they're always there for you, and sometimes that's all you need. She's acknowledging that the movie is far from perfect, but she's also predicting that it's going to be a box office smash. Karen thinks this movie is a safe bet for Marvel, even if it doesn't push any boundaries or break new ground. So if you're looking for a movie that'll challenge your perceptions and leave you speechless, you might want to look elsewhere. Nick Shager, The Daily Beast. Last but not least, we've got Nick Shager from The Daily Beast, and he's feeling optimistic. Nick's basically saying this movie is like that one friend who throws the best themed parties. They go all out with the decorations, the food, the music, the whole 9 yards. You always know you're in for a good time when they're in charge. He's acknowledging that the movie might not appeal to everyone, but he's also confident that it's going to be a hit with die-hard fans. Nick thinks this movie is a celebration of everything fans love about Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's sure to deliver the laughs and thrills they're looking for. So if you're looking for a movie that'll make you question your sanity, you might want to skip ahead. So, is it a must-see or Marvel meh? Well, there you have it, folks. The critical jury is still out on Deadpool and Wolverine, 2024. Some are calling it a hilarious romp, while others are saying it's about as exciting as watching paint dry. So what do you think? Are you Team Love It or Team May? Head down to the comments and let your freak flag fly. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic movie reviews.